Hello and welcome to Chase's Theater in honor of the new South Korean movie Peninsula releasing this weekend. I don't know if it's going to be in the US. Who knows?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But either way, we decided to go back and watch both Seoul Station, the prequel to Train to Busan, and Train to Busan. This is my friend Austin. He is a movie buff. First, we're going to be reviewing Seoul Station, which was released in 2016 and directed by Sang-ho Yeon. Same year, same director as Train to Busan. This one is an animated film. It's sort of like prequel, spin-off, doesn't follow the same characters at all. It's kind of like a supplementary film to Train to Busan.
You can watch one without the other. You don't really need to watch this animated one to see Train to Busan, and you don't need to watch Train to Busan to know the other one. It's almost like it's mainly there for fan service as I really like Train to Busan because that's what people will probably watch first, and then Seoul Station is mainly like there's an extended universe in a sense of there's more story to what happened in the society around that kind of gives way to that's how all of it crumbled overnight kind of thing.
Right, and I do like the fact that they can each stand on their own in that way. So, Seoul Station, though, my initial thoughts are, first of all, as an American, I watch this movie and I think, where are all the guns? Why are none of these people using guns to kill these zombies that are attacking everyone? Only the police and the military have guns.
And even then, half the time the police come in with a baton.
Right, It's crazy. It's bizarre to watch that. In this country that we live in.
Because I guess we're so used to seeing the access of guns, and I'm not saying we would instantly beat a zombie apocalypse if it happened. It's just a matter of it just was odd.
Yeah,
because
it was jarring.
I mean, you have people ripping flesh out of each other's necks, and we're just like, you know what? The stick will do.
Right, yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? I think more than the stick is going to be needed for this situation.
My other main initial thought was kind of how crappy the animation was in my eyes. It almost looked like it's one of those 3D animated portions in a 2D animated show like Family Guy when they sometimes throw in a 3D animated shot.
And then it kind of throws you for a loop.
Right.
Like when you had that, there was a point, I don't know if this is what stuck out, but when one of the guys is walking down the hallway and it goes point of view, him turn around the hallway. And I was it was so odd. And I think it's because 2D animation, drawings, are not meant to look like that without it being odd. Right. So the whole movie, you have something where it's, someone sketched that drawing and they, basically do the flip page thing to make it look like it's moving. And then, but they implemented a movable 3D thing to where you kind of were like, whoa, that camera-wise didn't fit into the rest of the 2D because it was you had a 3D image come out at you in a 2D picture.
Right, it looks wrong and it feels wrong.
It felt weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's 3D people, but it isn't it almost felt like CGI in a cartoon. It was a little odd.
Yeah. Yep,
I guess that's the only way I could describe it.
That's a great description of CGI. So yeah, those were my main initial thoughts right after seeing it. On thinking about it a little bit more, I'm seeing that there were a lot of social issues touched upon. There's a lot of social commentary all throughout. Almost every human you meet is complaining or struggling or dealing with some kind of
issue.
Yeah, social issue in that more specifically. So this lady just approaches these two characters and she is just complaining about how crappy the world is and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, what?
She just was like, why don't you guys just go ahead and die? And then was laughing and then this world sucks and then just walked away. And I was I wasn't confused. I was interested, but it felt like I needed more context to the situation. Not that it was necessarily bad because in Seoul Station, it is very much point of view of everyone on bottom list class, I guess, because there's very much a class situation in Asia.
Oh yeah.
That was definitely Seoul Station was homeless people who are in prostitution to pay their bills, etc. Everyone's crying constantly. Everyone cries at least once, and they probably do it for about 20 minutes or 20 minutes total of time in the movie, which I guess makes sense. I mean, I would probably be crying if I saw a whole bunch of people getting ripped apart, and then but the whole thing is like everyone's kind of emotionally broken already.
Yeah, already before the zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah, and then adding that zombie apocalypse factor into it really doesn't help by any means.
And to me, now that I'm thinking about it and seeing it, I think it was maybe sort of a metaphor, because a lot of the rich people, the cops and everything, they were like, the homeless, they're just taking over.
They're the problem.
And the homeless are the zombies in the film, because that's where the infection starts with
because they can't get anywhere.
Right.
Because everything's full of stuff, and they can't find a good place to go for anything. Like, I mean, they're sleeping in a train station, and then over the intercom you hear them like, hey, homeless people, shut up. Like, while the zombies are attacking and killing people and they're screaming, they're like, hey, guys, stop. Please just be quiet. Die quietly or something. And it's like a complete disregard for anyone homeless.
But basically, I guess what I was saying about the zombified homeless people, they are a metaphor for the class divide in South Korea.
Yeah.
They just keep growing and growing because the class divide keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's eventually just gonna tear down the whole system. And it's basically how I saw the movie. And
it was shown in the sense of, in the way they like completely disregarded like people and zombies. Like when you see the zombies, like you can tell it's a zombie. I mean, you could, like, there's blood all over the face and their veins and their white eyes and stuff. And obviously you can't see that really good they're like 40 feet away or 50 feet away. But, I mean, they saw, and again, I don't necessarily blame them, because if it was a zombie apocalypse and I saw some guy just pop up, I might accidentally shoot them because there's no warning. It's just him popping up. But there was an indiscriminate action of literally shooting anything that moved. And I know it's a mixture of fear, a mixture of orders, a mixture of who do I shoot at? I can't tell, because people are running and screaming, and if you run and scream, you can look like a zombie that's running and also screaming. But it was kind of interesting how, like, they basically lumped, like, people who are homeless, people who are this or that, you know, lower class people, they just kind of lumped into one thing, and we're like, all right, let's just shoot everybody.
Right, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of even, like, strengthens what I'm saying, is they equated the homeless and the poor to zombies.
Yeah.
In a sense.
To where it's like collateral damage, like, and yeah, of course, and like you can't 100% only shoot zombies and never shoot someone on accident, especially when there's just everyone running around. But they were unequivocally different they weren't different to the people who were looking down on the situation. It was
right.
Homeless and zombies. It didn't matter.
Right. They were the same in their minds.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I thought that was a pretty interesting social commentary there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the art style or if it is not that good, because, I mean, obviously there's art styles where it's super unique and it's like, I don't really like it that much. It's just not my taste, but that doesn't make it bad graphics.
Sure.
But the zombies looked exactly like they do in Train to Busan.
That's true.
And, like, I think they were probably one of the best animated things.
I would agree with that.
Because a lot of people's faces felt flat and, like, hollow, I guess. But with the zombies, it was like, poof, that was a zombie. You can tell. And I think that was kind of smart for them to really push that this is a zombie, this is a person, you know, where you can tell, which also plays on the thing of, if it's so easy for us to tell, they didn't care, they just shot everybody. So yeah, anyway, that was just...
That's true, I agree. I think that the zombies in the film were actually pretty...
Yeah.
The standout of the animation. So yeah, I think that there was a lot of great social commentary here. However, I don't think the story being propelled forward was that engaging. There was we're not going to say it, but there was a fantastic twist at the end.
2 twists.
Then after that, there was a second twist that was even, like...
It was very satisfying.
More satisfying than the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't see that twist coming, like, nowhere at all. Looking back, it kind of made sense, but also kind of didn't. Like, why would this character have this motivation to do this?
During this entire... I mean, obviously, he didn't know in that, like, starting off the situation... But at the end, while the situation is still progressing, I feel like the zombie situation heavily outweighed the situation he was still pursuing.
Right, and if you've seen the movie, I'm sure you know what we're talking about.
Whereas, like, this was his goal, where if zombie apocalypse is achieved, this goal literally is meaningless.
Right. They were good twists, though. I didn't see them at all.
It was, like, shocking. I was actually shocked.
I really was, yeah. So they did a great job on that. And I also did like how there were several interesting environments in which the characters had to face off or run from zombies that made for some great suspenseful scenes. However, through a lot of this film, I was just annoyed. You saw me. I was just like complaining at how stupid these characters were.
Oh yeah. I mean, again,
close the door behind you.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna open this door and let it stay open for the rest of the zombies to, pounce on their way through.
And that's just an obvious example.
Yeah.
There was
instead of reaching out to help someone, I'm gonna also climb onto the thing to lift their arm. Like, none of it made sense to me. To me, it was
just like to anger the audience. Yeah. Is what it felt like, and that's a cheap move that a horror movie can pull for suspense.
If there's a way you see how this is like, how these solutions were probable, like if you know what we're talking about, where you can see, someone will be frustrated, please explain to me one of these things of how that would have made sense. I'm not super smart. I do dumb things. None of those stuff I would have done.
I would have survived in this movie.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have done
any of the things. And again, there's stress, there's shock, there's a bunch of stuff that's going on, but really...
Right, and there's the other thing is, you have adrenaline during those moments.
Yeah.
There's so much... You don't even have to think, it's just instinct. You instantly do these things.
Yes.
That was just so unrealistic to me, and I didn't like the cheap suspense that this movie pulled off.
Yeah. Jason was saying adrenaline, you're instantly moving, you're fight or flight, but people for some reason waited for like 38 minutes to realize they should run away from a zombie.
I guess they had a lot of fight instinct and not a lot of flight instinct.
Yeah, they were more like, I'm going to stand my ground, even though they were crying, but they would then run after someone was
not even stand the ground, but even just be like confused
as to what to do. It's like, do I go through door A with no zombies, or do I look at the closed door that's probably locked? I'd be like, just run at the empty door.
Right. Just very obvious choices to make in these difficult situations that these people refuse to make.
Yeah, you would feel like it would be obvious. Yeah.
Anyway, did you have anything else to add, Austin?
It reminded me of like the like where they're at, like the art style of like the city and everything reminded me of the Matrix, in a sense of like when they're in the Matrix, everything's still crummy. It's bland. Like, they literally made the picture to look bland and unappealing, despite the fact that people are living in the Matrix, right? So they're always in crummy apartment buildings. They're in garbage, bland alleyways and stuff like that. Things that aren't appealing. And I thought it was interesting that how I view as another representation of, like, the garbage that some of the homeless people are living in and the lower class people are working in, where the environment was, like, bland. None of the places I saw besides like the very last area was anywhere I'd want to stay at all. And so like, I remember as a kid when I was like 14 watching The Matrix, I was like, why would anyone want to live in this garbage apartment? And it's like, I don't like it, but it brought attention to like the characters and like what everyone else is living in this Matrix kind of thing. And so to me, it's like, in Seoul Station, seeing these horribly bland places, I thought that brought a lot of life to the characters themselves, showing that they don't really have a lot of good options to stay anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good insight there, man.
Very deep. Probably too deep. The director's probably like, that literally is not what I meant. But I like to overanalyze.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give Seoul Station a solid 5 out of 10. What about you?
I'm probably going to do a 5 as well.
Really?
Just because,
wow. I
almost want to say like 5.5 just because of like, when it comes to the reflection of like, I feel like it's more than just an animation thing, and you get that. But I would almost like that more than a better movie. I would almost like more meaning to it. Like, I like the meaning more than I like the necessity of the movie itself. But I think a 5 just because there are times when I almost was bored.
No, I agree with that.
And
I was more so angry a lot of the time just at how annoying the characters were.
And it wasn't like a funny, stupid, like, oh, you idiot, haha.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you literal moron. What are you doing? So yeah, I think 5's around.
Yeah, good social commentary though. Pretty good zombie scenes.
Yeah, the zombies were definitely good when they were in it. And I do appreciate the not just, we're going to throw buckets of gore at you kind of thing. Like, it was more like implication off screen. Like, when a guy falls down into a pit of zombies and you see the guy's face, like, watching that. Like, that conveys more than literally just seeing his arms ripped off, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, zombies were good. I think they were my favorite part of the thing. And the social commentary was also really good.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll be filming our Train to Busan review right after this.
Yep.
Watch for that as well. I'll link it in the description when it's up. Please make sure to comment your thoughts on Seoul Station and Train to Busan. And if you've seen Peninsula, let me know your thoughts.
Don't spoil it, but tell us
Don't
it's
spoil
good.
it. Yeah. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you for my next review.
Peace, guys.
I need those finger guns before I end this thing.
Oh.